The foreign exchange crisis in Nigeria is hitting the economy hard and has assumed a new dimension, with some banks suspending overseas automated teller machine card services and online transactions denominated in foreign currencies. On Business Nigeria today, we will be talking extensively on this new development. I am Oluyemisi Dada. Welcome. Some deposit banks in Nigeria have decided to stop their Naira debit cards from dispensing dollars to customers via automated teller machines in foreign countries. They've also disallowed the cards from being used for online and point-of-sale transactions. This is attributed to the call by the Central Bank of Nigeria to all deposit banks to adopt the interbank foreign exchange rate as the basis for charging customers for foreign currency-denominated transactions. Deposit banks then advised customers seeking to carry out transactions denominated in foreign currencies to apply for dollar or pound sterling debit and credit cards, which will be linked to the customer's domiciliary account. What this means is that as a customer to any of the concerned banks, your card will not work if you try to use it abroad or shop online if the transaction is billed in any foreign currency. Equally, if you are in Nigeria and you try to use it for a foreign currency transaction, the card will not work. This does not apply to online transactions, as maximum daily withdrawal from foreign automated teller machine is now $100 from the previous $250. The development has now affected UK visa applicants and travel agents who want to pay the visa fees through their Naira debit cards, leaving them stranded. Travelers are equally affected by this development, as travelers who want to make hotel bookings online could not do so as their transactions via the Naira debit cards were declined by the banks. These are just few of the complaints by users of Naira debit cards. Now let's take a few tweets to see other reactions. Now, Moses Ishaya Lokchang says it's a welcome development, even though our businesses will suffer, but I felt it is a sacrifice for the good of our country and a better tomorrow. Sixtus Izuchukwu Okoye says, I am angry. It's not fair. How will they stabilize the economy by making life hard for forex traders? Azunda Emejuru says, I only pity my fellow colleagues studying abroad. We are in for a big shock. Chris Anokbueme, we've gone back to the restriction period of last year ending when the CBN put restrictions on forex usage via banking transactions. It is so frustrating, as if those guys have run out of ideas. Toriola Flourish Olufemi has this to say, I was messed up by this singular act. My GTB and Union MasterCard that has been working since disappointed me after spending close to 2 hours in the mall. The Filipino guy tried it more than 5 times each and all weren't approved. I will still have more reactions to that. Now, the decision by some banks to suspend overseas ATM card services and online forex transactions came barely 1 week after the Central Bank of Nigeria, through the Bankers Committee, raised concerns about what it called the indiscriminate and suspicious manner in which some bank customers were spending dollars and other foreign currencies abroad through their Naira debit cards. Now, for further discussion on the matter, we have standing by via Skype a Nigerian economist from the United States of America, Okechukwu Ayomele. Thanks for your time. Thank you for joining us on Business Nigeria. Glad to have you back. It is Business Nigeria, and we're looking at the current development in the banking sector. Some commercial banks in Nigeria have suspended their dollar-denominated, foreign currency-denominated debit cards, such that customers are now complaining and finding it difficult to transact businesses with their cards. So now let's get a banker's perspective on this matter. I have standing by a currency analyst with Ecobank, Kunle Ezu. Many thanks for joining us on Business Nigeria. Now, can you educate us on this new developments in the banking sector?
Okay, thank you for having me. Lately, the banks, some banks in Nigeria did announce that they are putting the customers that use their Naira-denominated card on suspension from using their card abroad. And this is basically tied to what actually started like few months back. I'm talking about the issue of dollar liquidity in Nigeria. As we speak today, it is a common knowledge that accessing dollar or the greenback in Nigeria is a difficult task. And what the bank has done is to say we are putting a stop to our customers using the Naira card abroad. But again, the customers are advised that if they are still interested in using their card abroad, they are encouraged to open a dollar-denominated or a foreign currency-denominated card that could be used abroad. So what they have done is to say, yes, we are putting a stop to you using your Naira card abroad. But again, you could as well begin to use or open a dollar or a foreign currency-denominated card abroad. So what they have done is not really saying, do not use your card abroad. It's just saying, we are putting a stop to you using a Naira-denominated card abroad, while you are encouraged to use a foreign currency-denominated card abroad.
All right, now tell us what the impact of this singular decision will be on the economy.
So I think the main reason why a lot of banks have done this is actually put themselves in a check. For me, it's more like a stopgap, and it may just be it won't be a temporary measure, because the banks are actually out to service their customers, because we always say in the banking industry that customers are the kings. So we need them to survive as a bank. So what we have done is to say, yes, even as I want to support you in your businesses and your own, in fact, your own pleasure time. The bank again will need to do that within their own limits. So what that would do in a short time is to say, yes, the customers will feel the pain in the interim, but on the long run, it's going to be to the benefit of both the bank and the customer. And what we are saying here is this: why the customers will pay in the interim? The banks too are actually are working out strategies to bring back the service that has been offered to the bank, to the customers in the past. And that's why we say that in the interim, they can continue to enjoy their foreign currency denominated card, while the bank keep working on how to reopen the Naira card. Like I said, in the interim, yes, the customer will feel the pain, which the bank had continuously appealing to the customer to say, in the interim, yes, you will feel the pain, but all of this will not last long, because, like I said, it's a common knowledge to everyone that sourcing dollar or accessing dollar in Nigeria today is a difficult task.
All right. Now, as shown in the tweets that we read earlier on in the program, bank customers are being affected and they are complaining about it. What measures do you think the concerned banks can put in place to cushion the effect of their action on their customers, both in Nigeria and in the diaspora?
Okay. I think quickly speaking directly to that question, and you see what the bank has done in the last couple of days was to say, okay, the customers can continue to use their card on POS and online transaction, which for me is more like a quick fix, which may not actually address the problem in totality. But providing that alternative to say you can continue to enjoy that service on the POS and on online transaction. So what I've done is to say, yes, we've stopped you from using your card on the ATM. But in the short time, while we try to work out solution that will bring succor and relief to every customer. You can continue to use the card on POS and on online transaction. Yes, a lot of people will say the limit they place on the POS transaction is quite low. Yes, it is $100 per limit. Yes, but in the interim, I think there's a popular saying that I'm very better than none. The fact that we still have access to use the card on POS and online transaction, for me, I think it's still a better than nothing approach.
All right, many thanks for your insights on the issue. Kunle Ezun, currency analyst with Ecobank. Now, Nigeria's Auto Fiscal Policy 2013 has come under scrutiny when both public and private key players gathered for a reality check and to discuss the future of the automotive industry. During the symposium organized by the Automobile and Allied Sector Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, participants reviewed the performance of the auto policy in the light of current economic situation. They also made recommendations that they believe can ensure the survival of the automotive sector.
There is also the need to provide the necessary infrastructure to support the steel and plastics subsectors, which are expected to produce various parts of vehicles. This will create jobs and tremendous multiplier effects for the economy.
The current registered 44 assembly plants are too many. Merger and acquisition could be a viable option. Efforts also should be geared towards resuscitating the cluster industries, as they are the prime movers of this sector.
We also need financing, because most people can't buy a car in cash. So if the financing schemes come in and the economy turns, I think you could see very, very rapid increase.
Now, the 10-year 2013 Auto Fiscal Policy was formulated to, among other things, create economic environments to allow existing assembly plants attract other original equipment manufacturers, otherwise known as OEMs. Now, investment in small and medium-scale enterprise has been identified as a way of getting the country out of its current economic challenges. Members of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria say the country can determine the road to its destination without over-reliance on the rest of the world. They urged the government to create an enabling environment for economic agents from within and outside the country to contribute their quotas to the growth and development needed in the economy at this time. The need for investment in infrastructure was also emphasized.
Every sector can do a lot in helping the economy to grow by looking at the micro setting, by looking at the small scale industry, by looking at the medium scale industries. If in those areas we can do more and we can move our productive activities much further than what we have today, we will have succeeded in increasing the national output. We will have succeeded in generating more revenue for the various tiers of government. We will have succeeded in reducing the deficit financing that we have in this environment today.
The bankers are aware because they feel the pinch also. So it means they must be part of the thinking process to be able to come up with the right solutions to the problem we have at hand.
Now, Nigeria has appealed to the African Development Bank to fast-track the $1 billion loan facility it promised as support for the implementation of this year's budget. According to the government, the loan is expected to cover the 35% shortfall in the budget. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udo Udoma, made the appeal in Abuja during a meeting with the AFDB team. This was revealed in a statement issued by the Director of Information in the ministry. Udoma, while giving an overview of plans to boost the economy, said the government hopes to restore crude oil production to 2.2 million barrels per day at the end of this year. to avert an increase of over 200% in electricity tariff payable by residential consumers in the near future. Nigerian power distribution companies say the government has to intervene in the sector. According to them, this is in order to address a $2.6 billion revenue shortfall in the industry. They insisted that the intervention could come in form of subsidy to consumers, access to foreign exchange by the companies, and commercially reasonable financing for the distribution companies, also called DISCOs. The firms explained that they were not willing and could not impose any increase in tariff on consumers, but maintained that to avoid a situation where the consumers would have to pay as high as $1 per kilowatt per hour as energy charge, the government must intervene. And to the aviation sector now, where stakeholders have reacted to the federal government securing a special sectoral allocation of forex for airline operators in the second market intervention sales. Coordinator, Nigerian Aviation Safety Initiative, Dong Pam, has cautioned on the implementation, saying the process should be transparent and accountable. Reporter Lillian Ezemak has details.
Pam said it is important to ensure that safety operators do not increase their foreign exchange requirement and use the forex for round-tripping in the black market and cause further distortions of the actual industry demand. He wants the Economic Monitoring Unit of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to ensure that forex is directed where required. But this airline operator has expressed disappointment on the implementation of the exercise. He calls for speedy implementation of the forex policy.
We expect the federal government through the CBN to start rolling out the guidelines, because the commercial bank has spoke with them. They said nothing yet on their table, so we wait for it. I am saying here that everything government need to do now is to open that channel first, where the airline can have access to that.
I believe that there may be some paperwork that needed to be done, and so that with the next capital market then they will have it. But I personally, we got the letter quite all right. I have it. I have a copy of the letter, which was written to us, confirming the sectorial allocation. So definitely, I believe to take off, it's just a question of they linking up.
Meanwhile, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says the special sectorial allocation of forex for airline operators is to further engender market confidence and sustain the integrity of the Nigerian interbank forex market. There are other benefits to the airline subsector.
The aircraft maintenance, the major maintenance is done abroad. Insurance is dollarized. Even the crew, majorly, because they fly here and there, you pay them based on where they operate to. So with that cost, which is highly dollarized, it means they have a body of having to source for foreign exchange. And the only way to get it is the CBN. And now taken as a priority sector, it means, again, you are not going to be in default. You are going to be paid as at when you having been able to source for it easier than it used to be. And of course, on the foreign airline aspect, this kind of relief we have now, we are hoping that those ones that are suspended operation will resume their operation again.
The special secondary market intervention sales is an important exercise for the clearance of the backlog of forex obligations for airlines. Other sectors to enjoy priority in the interbank forex market are raw materials and machinery for manufacturing companies and agricultural chemicals. It is expected to be a major window for the airlines that had earlier halted operations to resume in earnest. The intervention also comes as an incentive for both local and foreign operators to carry out safe, secure, and lucrative operations in Nigeria. Lillian Ezemak, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, that's a package for you today on Business Nigeria. Join us another time for more insightful analysis. I am Oluyemi Sidada. I leave you with the figures of exchange rate as it stands today.